Good evening, familia. Good evening. Arsenal 4, Aston Villa 2. Puta que pariu. Listen, what a game. Que jogo de futebol. É mesmo isso que eu quero ver. This is what I want to see. The heart and desire. Today, was it a complete performance? No. But in the second half, we redeemed ourselves. Extra time, we showed the grit and the determination to say that we're still in this title race. We go top of the league, and this is what I want to see. The first 45 minutes were atrocious, absolutely atrocious. We didn't turn up. We were getting bossed. The midfield was getting bossed. We was getting pressed. And listen, literally, Emery was watching what happened to us against Brentford, against Everton, against Manchester United in the first game that we faced them, and literally taking a page out of that book and saying that is how you beat Arsenal. We were getting pressed so badly that they were absolutely dominating the game from the first minute, absolutely dominating it. But we showed passion, grit, and determination to come back into this game. Certain changes that I wanted were applied in this game. Trossard started on the left. Zinchenko, I still wasn't too happy with, but we saw determination. Ben White today was at fault for a goal, but I tell you what, he was definitely showing Zinchenko that is how you play as a wing-back. Overlapping Saka numerous times, showing that the crosses that he was delivering and giving Saka extra options on that right-hand side is exactly what we needed. Yes, Zinchenko scored today, but overall his defensive performance allowed for goals to come in from that left-hand side. And that, for me, was a big, big worry. He did score the goal, but ultimately, I actually think my man of the match today is Ben White. He kept on bombing down that channel, and even though we conceded a goal, he was one of the few threats that we had in this game. Saka was a threat in the first half, but in the first half, the only one that was really a threat was Ben White and Saka, all through that right-hand side. The left-hand side, a lot of times, Trossard was on the ball, waiting for assistance from Zinchenko. It wasn't coming. Zinchenko cutting in, little passes within the middle, and it was easy for Aston Villa to just press us back and hit us on the counter-attack. Ollie Watkins literally was just camping in our half of the pitch and literally waiting for the ball to be received. Douglas Luiz in the first half, I think, did excellently in terms of stopping us, playing through, stopping Odegaard play through, who I thought was another one that was completely anonymous this game. Douglas Luiz, Kamara, Coutinho were great at pressing us. They were pressing us. Whoever had the ball was getting pressed by 3 or 4 players, and then they were just recycling the ball, sparking a counter-attack straight up to Ollie Watkins. And we already know that we conceded a goal by Ollie Watkins. And I think the way that Aston Villa set up is exactly how I expected them to set up, which is why I was very worried about this game. But listen, second half, we definitely started turning it up. A couple more intricate passes. Ben White continuing to be a threat on that right-hand side, overlapping Saka. Saka as well, being dangerous, and we grew into the game. What we did in extra time is what we did in the first half, and extra time is what we should have done in the first half. But listen, I'm just happy that we got the job done. When you're in a title run, there's going to be games where teams are going to want to stifle you, like Aston Villa stifled us in the first half. There's going to be times where the teams don't want you to play, are going to stop you playing. You need to find a way to get 3 points. And today, eu tô contente. Hoje, eu tô feliz. Hoje, yeah, I got chest, because today, they got the job done. It's not always going to be beautiful, but you got it done. And that is where the team can become champions. That is where you can keep pushing, because there's going to be games. I mean, I've said it all the time. Fergie always had Fergie time, and we now need to have some Arteta time. You know what I mean? Today was Arteta time. That extra time today was Arteta time, and this is what I want to see. This is what I want to see. If I'm going to be completely honest, our first goal by Saka was given to us. Really bad clearance from Mings. Saka gets on it, smashes it top bins. That was a goal that was given. The other goal as well, when they had a corner in extra time, it gets headed out. Martinelli is run through into goal. Literally, the goalkeeper, Martinez, just out already in our box, trying to run back. Too late, open goal. Martinelli scores it and makes it 4-2. Those 2 goals were given. But at the end of the day, you need to take your chances. When teams make mistakes, you need to punish them. And today, we punished Aston Villa when they made their mistakes. Those opportunities that came our way, and we took it and we put them to the sword. And that is what I want to see. Because I didn't see it against Brentford. I didn't see it against Everton. And I didn't see it against Man City. Today, I saw the grit, the determination to get those 3 points. We had to win today. We know Man City are more than likely going to win their next game. We had to win. We're level on points. We've allowed them to claw their way back into this title race. So we now needed to do our job E graças a Deus, Nossa Senhora de Fátima do céu, ganhamos hoje, caramba. I'm happy today. I can't even lie. I'm happy. Yeah, I'm very, very happy. I'm not happy with the first half, but I'm happy that overall, yeah, we pulled up our socks. In the second half, we said, nah, we're going at them. From the first minute of the second half, we brought the game to Aston Villa. All of a sudden, Douglas Luiz had to get subbed off. Coutinho, Buendia had to get subbed off. Douglas Luiz had to get subbed off. These were players that were running the game in the first half, had to get subbed off. And I was happy to see it. That is what I want to see because it no longer was working. That is what I'm expecting from this manager, to change things. This is why you get paid all the money that you get paid for. When it's not working in the first half, change it. Change it tactically. If you don't change the formation, change it tactically. And we were way more faster with our passes, quicker. A lot of players were making runs, more decisive, and we started cutting through Aston Villa and creating chances for ourselves. Today wasn't a perfect performance, but today was the performance that we needed to win, caramba. 4-2. Filhos da puta. At first half, yeah, I already put the video out. I was already like 2-1. I was already pissed off, made the thumbnail. I was like, oh, here it goes, bottling it again. Every time I'm under pressure, bottling it. But today, this is what I want to see. This is what I want to see. This kind of level of performance. And let's get into everything that happened. Because for me, today, at the end of the day, Zinchenko holds on to the ball instead of releasing it and loses the ball. And the ball goes over to Ollie Watkins and he scores. And the goal for Ollie Watkins, I felt like Saliba could have done a lot better. At the end of the day, you're closing him down. The main thing you need to do is stick a leg in. Don't let him cut in or let him release a shot. He should have done a lot better. He should have blocked it with his left foot. Allows Ollie Watkins to release the shot. Ramsdale reacts a little bit too slow, and at the end of the day, it's a goal. But I do believe that Saliba should have done a lot better in that situation. You shouldn't be allowing Ollie Watkins to run into our box, and you definitely should not be allowing Ollie Watkins to get the shot off. Ramsdale today, his distribution wasn't great. I was not happy with his distribution. At certain times, he put us under pressure. Wasn't good enough for me in terms of distribution from Ramsdale today. And Saliba, ultimately, for me, it was poor. It was poor. You need to be blocking that, and you need to show him down the line and force him into either playing it back or crossing the ball to someone. But you cannot allow him to pass the ball across you. I'm sorry, you can't be doing that. You got to show him down the line. It's Saliba's first season in the Premier League. I know it's not, it's a learning curve, but at the end of the day, you need to fix up on that. Ollie Watkins should not be scoring from that. When you actually watch it back, the angle's very tight. I believe Saliba could have done better in that situation. And he didn't put his foot in, allowed him to take the shot, and it's 1-0 to Aston Villa. Xhaka losing the ball from Aston Villa, and he was just getting pressed off the ball, absolutely pressed off the ball. Missed passes, not the Xhaka that we've been seeing the last couple of months that got us into this position. Xhaka just losing the ball, getting pressed. I think Buendia was dropping really well and pressing him, and also Douglas Luiz was on Granit Xhaka as well. Kamara, even Coutinho digging in and pressing him and isolating him, blocking all the passes, all the passing lanes that he could have available. And I think that they did that very, very well in the first half. And Granit Xhaka, it showed he wasn't able to play his football. He wasn't able to play the way he wanted to play. Nketiah at times diving for no reason. Stay on your feet, caramba. This guy got so many chances today and once again doesn't bury them. It's not just aerial balls where you need to header. I don't understand why every time this guy can just never get it on target. It's so frustrating. And yes, we got away with it today, but we didn't get away with Nketiah not being clinical against Brentford, against Everton, against Man City. Eventually, we need him to come on form. What I'm liking is we're getting goals from other areas, which is what we were doing in earlier stages of the season. But eventually, we need Eddie Nketiah to start putting balls away and start actually being more clinical, because I'm not seeing it at the moment. I'm not seeing it from Eddie Nketiah. And doing all that diving, bro, just work on your game and put the ball in the back of the net. Ben White overlapping. And this is why I've given man of the match to Ben White, because at the end of the day, Ben White, even though I do feel like he was to blame for one of the goals that we will get into, he was relentless. And like I said, Ben White ain't the fastest. He's not like a Trent Alexander-Arnold on that right-hand side. He's not going to blitz past players, but he was doing exactly what we needed. Saka would receive the ball. He would see that Saka doesn't have many options. The middle was congested by Aston Villa players, and he's overlapping, giving him options, receiving the ball, crossing it into the box. That's what we need, providing a service and also providing a passing lane for Saka so that Saka's not isolated. That is what I want to see, Karamba, and I was happy to see that. What's going on with my camera? It's going a little bit fuzzy at the moment. What's going on? There we go. We're back. And that is what I wanted to see from Ben White. And I felt like Ben White did that really, really well. There was a time where Ben White overlaps. He crosses it to Nketiah. Nketiah heads it. It's offside, but why isn't Zinchenko overlapping as well? And that was my frustration with Zinchenko. Why are you not overlapping? You're seeing Ben White have success. The guy was causing problems. The only way we were getting at them was Saka cutting in and taking shots, and Ben White overlapping Saka and crossing it into the ball. Why are you not replicating that on the left-hand side, Zinchenko, and doing the same thing? I don't understand why he wasn't doing that. Ultimately, yes, he scored a goal, but I actually thought it was a very, very poor performance from Zinchenko all round. Just because you score a goal doesn't mean that your whole performance is good. Are you misplaced? You're still misplacing passes. You're still out of position. You're still negating your defensive duties. You're still not recycling the ball the way you need to. So ultimately, a goal doesn't nullify you from all those things, in my opinion. So for me, I don't think it was a great performance from Zinchenko, if I'm being completely honest. I don't think he had a great game. Even though he had a goal, I don't care. It's not just about your goal. It's your overall performance as well. It's not just about a goal. So that's how I feel about it. But at the end of the day, why is Eddie Nketiah, every time this guy gets service to head of the ball, every time he hits it wide? Why are you hitting it wide every time? I don't understand Nketiah. Why are you always hitting it wide? Hit it on target. Make the goalkeeper work. I know, but it's not your strongest attribute. I know you're not Mitrovic. I know you're not an excellent header of the ball, but at least put it on target. You never know. Maybe if you hit it on target, the goalkeeper can work for it. He may have to sort around getting his hands together. If you're close to the goalkeeper, even if you header it and it hasn't got a lot of power, if it's on target, if it's too close, if it's around this section of the goalkeeper or around here, sometimes he can't get his hands across fast enough, especially if he's in the wrong position. You've got to make the goalkeeper work for it. You never know when he won't sort his hands and feet together, get himself in the right position, and it's a goal. But every single time Nketiah receives a cross on his head, he hits it wide. It's poor. It's poor from Nketiah. And we got away with it today, and I'm happy today. But these are the things. We always have to look at the little details. The fact is, we've gotten ourselves into this situation because a lot of Arsenal fans don't want to look at the details. They want to look at when we win and not analyze the details in the game that we need to improve. Because against better opposition, this more than likely would have been a draw, if not a loss. 2 of our goals out of our 4 goals were given to us. 2 of them were given to us on a play. Against better opposition, you're not going to get that. And when you're having Nketiah missing chances like that, that is going to come back to sting us in the arse, in my opinion. But like I said, Douglas Luiz, I think in the first half played excellently. Douglas Luiz was intercepting passes. He was aggressive. He was pressing. He was leading that midfield and that press from the midfield and that Aston Villa press. Literally, he was the leader and he was nullifying Jorginho. He was nullifying Xhaka. He was nullifying Odegaard. Was not allowing them to breathe, not allowing them to think. Was on them straight away and was aggressive. And I felt that that was very, very good from Aston Villa and the way that Unai Emery set them up in that aspect. Mings with a rubbish clearance and it falls straight to Saka and top bins, bro. Absolutely top bins by Saka. What a shot and what a goal. And this guy, man, even though I can see that Saka's knackered, which is something else that we need to talk about because I do think Saka is burnt out. I think he's tired. Yeah, and there was opportunities in the second half that Saka had that there was no vim behind the shot. There was no power. There was no tinha aquele picante, no tinha aquele sabor. You know what I mean? Because he's tired. He's drained. He plays every single game. But at the same time, what a goal by Saka. I was so impressed by Bukayo Saka and his goal. And at the end of the day, we get back into the game. And I was happy with that. Poor clearance by Mings. If you're going to clear it, you need to get it well away from your goal. You can't be clearing it like that. But listen, at the end of the day, this is what we need to do. They make a mistake. We capitalize. And today, we capitalized on Aston Villa's mistakes. And it is what it is. Ben White gets beaten, not marking his man, allows the cross into the ball, and Coutinho scores. And this was the lapse in concentration that got me fuming with Ben White. I was thinking, mas que esse filho da puta tá fazendo? Mas que esse gajo tá fazendo? For this, at the end of the day, he could see everything that was going on. He knew there was a man on him on the right. He chooses to engage with the guy that's on the ball and allows the player on his right-hand side to drift past him completely unmarked. Then by the time that Ben White wants to recover, he doesn't have the recovery pace, allows that Aston Villa player to cross it into the ball and Coutinho scores. Poor basic defending. And I think that was poor. But I have to give it to him. Just like Tomiyasu in the last game, even though he made a mistake, he didn't put his head down. He didn't drop all his tools. He didn't say, oh, that's it now, and let that mistake get to him. Even though that he was at fault for that goal, he then started to impose himself even more on that right-hand side. And I think he actually ran himself into the ground, which is why Tomiyasu came on later. But I actually think Ben White showed heart and determination and stayed into the game. And I was just proud of seeing the way he was performing. I think he was our best player. For me, man of the match for Arsenal. I think the way Ben White just continued to be a problem on that right-hand side and help Saka, I got nothing but praise for him other than that mistake. He needs to rectify that. But for someone that hasn't got a lot of pace, is overlapping, that's exactly what I want to see from Ben White. And going forward, that is the performance I want to see from Ben White. Overlapping Saka, but also making sure that you don't forget about your defensive duties. I think that's important, that he doesn't forget about his defensive duties. But honestly, very happy, very, very happy with Ben White, other than that. And for me, I think he was our best player. When you look at overall performance, 90-minute performance, I think he was our best player, in my opinion. Saka was the only one looking dangerous for Arsenal, even when Buendia and Alex Moreno was doubling up on him. And this is why I was praising Ben White so much. If Saka's getting doubled up on by Buendia and Alex Moreno, he needs somebody else to pass to him. He needs another outlet, especially when the midfield is congested. And Ben White provided that for him. And props to Ben White on that. I cannot give him nothing but props on that. Trossard, unable to have the same effect as Zinchenko, never running the channels. And this is what was the frustrating thing in the first half. Why are you not helping him the same way? Why is Zinchenko not helping Trossard the same way Saka's getting helped by Ben White on the right-hand side? And this is the most frustrating thing about Zinchenko. He's bombing into the midfield, allowing space in from the left-hand side, allowing us to be exposed, which Aston Villa did expose and score from. And then you're not also helping Trossard. Trossard looked on it. He looked energetic today, but he had no one to play off. He had no one. They were literally doubling up on him. And Cash and McGinn were literally just getting Trossard out of the game. He needed help, but he wasn't receiving that help because Zinchenko is allergic to running down the channels. He can only run through the middle, which is why I said it's better to play Zinchenko through the middle, if I'm being completely honest. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Odegaard sets up Saka outside the box and Saka skies it. And I think that's just down to fatigue. I think there was a lot of chances that fell to Saka today, but because of fatigue, because he's worn out, because he plays every minute, he's in every game, because he never gets subbed off, I think the guy is just knackered. And we really need to look into that because that could be a big, big problem going forward if we keep burning out Saka. Last season, we burned him out. And around this time, the second half of the season, he started burning out. But it is what it is. It is what it is. This manager decided not to get another player to rotate with Saka on that right-hand side. So I guess we're going to burn him out. Ben White with an overlap. Cheeky back pass to Saka, who crosses it into the box. Those are the times that we look the most dangerous. 100%, it was the most times that we looked dangerous for me. With them two just whipping crosses in or playing 1-2s off each other. Another cross from Ben White to Nketiah, who heads it wide. And like I said, this guy, how many chances fall to him and Nketiah hits it wide? It's not good enough. It really isn't good enough, man. You're a centre forward. Your bread and butter is scoring goals. You at least need to flip in, hit it on target at least. Hit it on target. All I'm asking, hit it on target at least. Minimum, bare minimum. Hit it on target. Man, this Marika can't do it. This Weron can't do it, bro. This field that bro, I'm so frustrated with Nketiah, bro. He's just not good enough. But it is what it is, man. Ultimately, I'm happy we won the game. I'm not gonna dwell on that too much. But that is something that needs to be addressed. But it is what it is. Nice little chip from Nketiah. Nice little chip to Nketiah from Jorginho, but he can't finish it. And this is what I'm saying. Like, Jorginho gives a lovely chip into Nketiah. Nketiah through. 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. Bro, this guy takes way too many touches and then tries to chip it and it goes wide. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You can't header on target. You can't shoot on target. What can this guy do? I'm not seeing it. This guy can't even smack a ball on target. Like, it's frustrating. It's honestly so frustrating. So frustrating, man. Zinchenko unmarked from a short cross, finishes it bottom corner. And that Zinchenko goal, I mean, it was ridiculous defending from Aston Villa. How can you not have a man on Zinchenko that's just just outside the box. Literally, we play a short corner, forces Zinchenko, first time he takes it lovely, bottom corner, smashes it, boom. Do you know what I mean? And that's all Aston Villa's fault. And this is where we made them pay. In situations like this, allowing Zinchenko to be unmarked, allowing a player to just be there and giving him all the time to let off the shot. And he scored. And what a great goal from Zinchenko. Other than that, I don't think he did anything well. I don't think Zinchenko had a good game. Out of position too many times, mispassing the ball, not helping Trossard on that left-hand side. Wasn't a great performance from Zinchenko, but a lot of people will just brush that over their shoulder because he scored a goal. But ultimately, his overall performance wasn't good enough. Great goal, took it very well, give him props for that. But overall, the performance from Zinchenko was poor. And I want to start turning on that left-hand side. I'd rather move Zinchenko into Xhaka's role and play him centrally going forward, because I think he offers a lot going forward. Like we saw, he scored a goal. I think going forward and in the midfield, the way he plays, I think Zinchenko, it works and it can work. But as a left back, as much as you can score a goal, you're not scoring a goal every game. And a lot of times you just invite too much pressure on that left-hand side and leave a gaping hole when you're bombing forward and you're not filling in your defensive duties. And that's how I think about Zinchenko, if I'm being completely honest. Odegaard with a through ball to Nketiah, one-on-one with a goalkeeper, and he chips it wide. And I'm thinking, what is going on with this guy, bro? So many chances. Nketiah cannot shoot on target. Why, bro? You either take too many chances, you hit it wide, you smash it, you rush the shot, or you take way too long, allow defenders to get in front of you. Like, come on, like, I'm not asking too much. You are a striker, bro. Hit it on target, Gadam. Listen, I'm not going to let Nketiah and the fact that he ain't good enough, and I knew that he wasn't good enough, ruin this game. At the end of the day, you need to step it up, because in other games, the rest of the team may not save us and may not get the goals that we need. We need Nketiah to start turning up. We need him to start turning up. But it is what it is. Let's move forward. I'm not going to dwell on it too much because it'll start getting me vexed. Martinelli with a great run. Saka should have carried on his run. Martinelli plays the ball, but because Saka stops his run, it doesn't get to him. And that would have put Saka straight through onto goal. That would have just been a tap in. And listen, ultimately, we didn't need it. But that was a little bit frustrating in that period of the game, because I'm thinking, Saka, if you only just continue to run. But like I said, I feel like Saka's tired. I feel like Saka is exhausted. And this is why you're seeing certain shots from Saka be weak. Certain times he's not running the whole pitch, after the second half, at certain times he's burning out, especially reaching the 70th, hitting the 80th minute. He's exhausted. He's playing every minute of every game. The guy needs to be rotated, but it is what it is. It is what it is. This manager wants to keep playing him and burning him out. Nketiah does really well to win the ball, passes the ball to Odegaard that's in the box, one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and this filho da puta marica da merda hits it wide. What are you doing, caramba? What are you doing? I can't believe that you received the ball in the box, one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and you can't even at least hit on target. From that range, I'm expecting you to score. I don't care if you're a striker, midfielder, I don't care who you are. You're in the middle of the box, you're with the goalkeeper, you should put it away. Another chance that, thank God, didn't cost us today, and we just kept going and we kept being positive and attacking them, and we ultimately won the game. But like I said, Odegaard, bro, you were non-existent in the first half. Second half, you're getting a gem of an opportunity to score a goal in the box, one-on-one with the goalkeeper, no pressure, and you just smash it wide. I mean, what is going on here? Am I asking for too much? I've seen so many comparisons of you and Bergkamp. Bergkamp would have buried that. So if people are going to compare him to Bergkamp, these are the times when you're looking at it thinking, bruh, Bergkamp would have done his thing here. I'm not seeing this guy doing his thing here. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Like I said, ultimately, that didn't cost us. And we still ended up scoring goals. In extra time, Bailey hits the post. Another player getting in behind from Zinchenko. Zinchenko was nowhere to be seen because he's in the middle of the park, not looking at his defensive duties. Bailey's through on our left-hand side, and he smashes it against the post. And luckily, Ramsdale gets a hand to push it and par it onto the post, and luckily we don't concede a goal. But these are the moments, these are the times that you look at Zinchenko and you're thinking, what are you doing? What are you doing, bro? What are you doing? You are still a defender. You're not playing as a midfielder here. You're playing as a left back. you still need to cover that left-hand side. You can't be allowing to expose us on that left-hand side and just exposing the centre-backs and exposing everyone on that left-hand side. It's not good enough. Not good enough defensively. And this is why I said he scored a goal. But these are the chances that, you know, these are the times when I'm looking at you and I'm thinking, you're not good enough to play as a left-back for me. Not good enough. But it is what it is. Saka in the box, hits it straight up Martinez. Like I said, I felt like he was just exhausted. And then in extra time, Jorginho shouts for it. I remember Jorginho runs up just outside the box, shouts for it, receives the ball and smashes it off of the crossbar, hits the goalkeeper and goes in. What a goal by Jorginho. What a goal. Definitely turned it up in the second half. I was impressed a lot more by his performance in the second half than I was in the first half. And this is where I said when we signed Jorginho, where he strives. This is where he strives, yeah? Playing more the Xhaka role than a Partey role. I think his attributes. He's a good passer. He can shoot. It suits more playing as a box-to-box than a traditional CDM that's sitting. And this is why I said when we got Jorginho, he's more of a replacement for Xhaka than for Thomas Partey. As a CDM, I don't rate him. As a box-to-box, I don't think he's that bad. Do I think he's amazing? No. Today, I'm happy with his goal. But ultimately, the way that we're using him as a CDM, for me, doesn't work. And this is why our midfield is always, every time since we got Jorginho, is able to be overrun because his attributes, his strongest attributes are not defensive. They're attacking. He likes to play the ball forward, see a pass, play a long pass, play a direct pass to the striker, feed the wingers. That is where he strives. Taking long shots from far like he did today and doing a Xhaka boom. That is why he's more of a replacement for Xhaka. My problem with him is the fact that we consistently play him in the CDM role, and I don't think he can do that job adequately. Whereas Thomas Partey's strength isn't necessarily he's a great passer, because I don't think he's an amazing passer at all. Thomas Partey is more defensive, and in that role we needed the CDM to have stronger defensive attributes. But listen, it is what it is. At the end of the day, Jorginho did what he needed to do. What a rocket of a shot. What a shot, you know, and to have the balls to take that shot. I mean, at the end of the day, this is what we need, man. When the chips are down, people are telling me, oh, we got Jorginho for the experience. When the chips are down, since he's been here, I've not seen it. Today, I saw it. And long may it continue. Like I said, I want to win the league. So I'm more than happy to be proven wrong. But these players need to show me something for me to believe in. Today's performance gives me some hope, but there's still a lot of things that happen in today's game that do concern me and give me a lot of worries. At the end of the day, the way our midfield was outrun in the first half is still very concerning. And like I said, I don't think Jorginho is good enough to control this midfield. We need our destroyer and Partey back. I don't think Jorginho can do that role. Can he fill in or be a starter for Xhaka? Of course he can. Of course he can. He's a great passer of the ball and he can shoot from far. And he's won more things in the game. He's got more experience, etc., etc. The argument, he's probably a better player than Xhaka. But to be the replacement for Partey, that is where I'm not convinced. That is where I'm not convinced on him. Villarreal corner. Gabriel with a header out, Martinelli on the run, and Martinez was in our box trying to run back. Open goal. Martinelli's already celebrating before he scores, runs it into the goal, and it's 4-2. And it is what it is. Listen, they literally gifted us that goal with Martinez coming up to our half for the corner. And it didn't fall right for them, and we made them pay. And listen, I'm happy today, man. I'm happy today because at halftime I was skewing. I was absolutely screwing. I can't lie. I'm happy today. I cannot lie. I'm happy today. The boys today stuck together, showed cojones, you know, and actually Arteta, I don't know what he told them at halftime, but this time it worked. They came out with a point to prove in the second half. They came out wanting to fight for their position, wanting to fight for each other, wanting to perform for each other, going at Aston Villa, playing quick 1-2s, moving the ball a lot faster. You know what I mean? And whatever Arteta's doing with Ben White, if you are going to persist with Zinchenko on the left-hand side, you need to tell him the same as well. Because as good as Zinchenko is in terms of the midfield, if you want him to do that job in the midfield, just play him in the midfield. Just play him in the midfield. But you can't allow Jorginho to keep tucking into the midfield and allowing gaping holes for players like Leon Bailey and other players to run in there and just cause havoc on our left-hand side. Our left back needs to also fulfill his defensive duties, or teams will exploit that. And Aston Villa did exploit that. And that needs to be something that gets looked at. But at the end of the day, you know, for me, I think Odegaard had a poor game. I don't think Odegaard had a very good game. I don't understand why the man of the match got given to Odegaard. I think Jorginho was poor in the second half. I think he was a lot better in the second half than he was in the first half. Granit Xhaka, I don't think was that great today either. I think a lot of our midfield didn't play that great, to be honest. I think they were poor. I think Eddie Nketiah, once again, was trash. Saka, today, I think, was good. He was the only one that looked like he was on it throughout the whole game. I think Saka was the only one that looked constantly dangerous. Trossard, I kind of feel sorry for Trossard. I think he's going through the same thing that Martinelli was going through, which is getting no service. Gabriel and Saliba, I think Saliba, for me, like I said, could have done a lot better for the goal, for the Ollie Watkins goal. But it is what it is. He's going to learn from that. Ben White, for me, yeah, he made a mistake, but I'm so happy in the way that he recovered himself and the way that he reacted after. Ramsdale needs to look at his distribution. I think sometimes he takes way too long to distribute the ball and make a decision, and a lot of times that invites pressure on himself. I think he needs to look at that. And yeah, that's how I look at the match. At the end of the day, we got away with it today, but sometimes you need that. You know, we had to do that with the Invincibles. I think we got the year that we went invincible. I think Arsenal had 11 draws that season. There was games that we had to dig in deep and dig in for a draw, make sure that we don't drop all points. But there was a lot of games that you have to dig in and make sure that you win those games, especially in the second half of the season. You need to dig in and get those 3 points, even if it's a sloppy 1-0, even if it's a rough 2-0 or whatever, 4-2 today. You know, you have to dig in. You have to find a way to win the game and get the 3 points, especially when going into this game, we're level on points with Man City. And we know that Man City have the ability to go on 10, 15 game run unbeaten. We need to show that level of consistency. Can we do that going forward? I'm not too sure. Because at the end of the day, Nketiah still, for me, isn't performing. We need Jesus, who is still out for a couple of weeks. Thomas Partey, still not sure when he's going to be back. Jorginho, we're still seeing that Jorginho cannot run a midfield for 90 minutes. He can't. Odegaard is completely nullified when you put 2 men on him, like Aston Villa did, and you press him. Like Douglas Luiz, Kamara, McGinn, and Buendia were pressing him. He was unable to play for a press. And that is a concern, you know. And then when you're looking at this manager persistent with playing Zinchenko, like I said, leaving too many holes. Saliba needs to fix up. Certain times, he just allows the striker into the box and into dangerous situations, and he needs to work on that. Ben White as well. He also needs to mark his man and not be ball watching and allow players to run past his shoulder. I mean, that's just basic defending. Ultimately, we did what we needed to do. Granit Xhaka looks like at times he's reverting back to the Granit Xhaka of the last 6 years. You know, Granit Xhaka had a great start to the season, but today, once again, when this guy gets pressed as well, we already know Granit Xhaka isn't the fastest, but you need to be faster in your decision making, faster with the passes, faster with the through balls, you know, making runs so that Jorginho has more passing options, that Odegaard has more passing options. He was doing that before. In the first half, he was not doing it. Second half, then he started to get more into the game. We need more of that. Some of these men are being way too static. And when your midfield is static, it's easy to press you. It's easy to nullify you. The defenders don't have much to think about because you're not overlapping the defenders. You're not giving them more than one person to defend, you know, with our wing backs overlapping. That is something that I think Ben White did very, very well. But we lost the midfield battle in the first half. And this is why they were in front. In the second half, we really imposed ourselves and we kept knocking on that door, and we knocked that door down. Second half, we definitely made sure we put them to the sword with every mistake that they made. And this is why today I'm proud of the performance. It's not a complete 90-minute performance, but it's a performance with heart, desire, and the players actually dug in. They came in the second half and said, you know what, we're going to do everything we didn't do in that first half, and we're going to make sure that we dig in and we show that we're not dropping points. We won it, we won the league, and we're going to fight for it. And that is what I haven't been seeing as of late. We saw it earlier in the season. We haven't seen it recently. with the game of with the game against Brentford, Everton, and Man City. This time we dug in. We dug in and made sure we got the points. And we got the points, and we're not dropping points. And it's not another, oh, we'll come again, good the next match. I'm proud of the boys today. I'm proud because with every mistake that they made, they still dug in together. And that is what could form, yeah, a real title race. Digging in deep. Arsenal don't have a soft underbelly. In the past, if we was in this position, 2-1 at half-time, right, we capitulate. No, there's no capitulation. We need to go for the title. I want my team to win the title. I want Arsenal to win the Premier League. And this is the attitude that we need to have. Of course, we need to rectify certain things. And the manager does need to rectify certain things. Tini needs to go back into this team. Put Zinchenko in the midfield over Xhaka. Xhaka's been having stinkers game after game. Jorginho, I mean, you're stuck with him. El Nene's injured. Partey's injured. There isn't much. I don't prefer Jorginho playing there. There isn't much he can do, if I'm being completely honest. You decided to get Jorginho instead of getting Moises Caicedo. It is what it is. We can't do anything now. I'm not happy with it, but we can't do anything now. Odegaard, you know, at the end of the day, Odegaard, what is he doing? What is Odegaard doing? Because this guy, yeah, goes missing all the time. Every time he's pressed. Unless you allow Odegaard to play, this guy does nothing. This guy does nothing. Pretty little passes, going nowhere, making no runs, losing the ball, taking way too long. At the end of the day, he needs to get dropped. But who are you going to drop him for? Fabio Vieira? He ain't good enough. So for me, maybe play Zinchenko in Odegaard's position and leave Xhaka where he is. But listen, it is what it is. We're short. And the options that we got aren't great to fulfill, to be, you know, to fill in for some of these starting lineup players. Saka, I'm telling you right now, I fear for Saka. I fear that this guy is getting burnt out so much that eventually he's going to get injured. Touch wood, he does not get injured, but I'm scared for Saka. He looks burnt out. The boy needs to rest, man. He can't play week in, week out. He can't. And we've seen how it's affected our title run. Gabriel Jesus being injured for a long time. We don't need a long-term injury or any injury to Saka. Saka's our best player. You need to protect him at certain times. Or, bring him on for 20 minutes or something. But he needs to stop playing 90 minutes every single game. Trossard, I think, actually played really well. And I think we'll get a lot more out of Trossard if we play Tini on the left. I actually think you'd see an elevation in Trossard. Trossard looks on it. He looks like more dangerous. He looks like he wants to bring the game to the opposition. But a lot of times, it's easy for him to get nullified when he doesn't have someone on the left-hand side overlapping him. They just put two men on him, and all of a sudden, Trossard's nullified. For me, Eddie Nketiah, 100%, this marica needs to be dropped. Esse filho da puta needs to be dropped. I don't care what no one has to say. He needs to be dropped. He needs to hold bench. This guy's dropping back to the level. You know, he had a little upturn in his form, but now he's dropped back to the level that I always knew he was. Drop, go to the bench, and then we'll get better from him. And I actually think today it worked wonders doing that because Martinelli's been starting, even though he's been really, really bad in recent weeks. Look how good and how energetic and how hungry Martinelli came on today. Yeah, seeing that he got dropped, Trossard played over you, and Trossard's fighting for your starting lineup position. He came on with some vim. He scored the goal. He was more on it, more direct. A lot of times in recent weeks, we've seen Martinelli dabbling on the ball, taking way too long with the distribution, not making the passes that we wanted. But now that he's got Trossard that's fighting him for that position, he's coming on with that vim, aquel sabor, aquel picante, aquel ají, coming on tipo, eu sou eu tô aqui, vou jogar, esse é o meu clube, eu que começo nessa equipa. You know what I'm saying? Because he's got Trossard on his ass. Nketiah has been way too comfortable. Jesus has been out. He plays every game. Drop him. Put Martinelli where Nketiah is playing. Put him there. Put him in the middle. He's able to play as a striker. Nketiah needs some competition. He's getting way too comfortable. He's doing nothing to this team, not providing anything. He's not great with the link-up play. He's not great finisher. He can't even get the ball on target. No. Drop him. Drop him. I'm sorry, drop him because it didn't cost us in this game, but it cost us against Everton and it cost us against Brentford. And going forward, if we continue with him, it's going to cost us down the line. So for me, I'm not even with that. You know what I'm saying? But normally I get onto Arteta about substitutions, but I think today he done the right thing. Bringing on Martinelli for Trossard after 68 minutes, you know, we can see it worked today. It actually worked. Tomiyasu coming on for Ben White. Ben White was also playing really, really well, but you could see Ben White was tiring. He's not somebody that's got loads of pace and loads of energy. And I think that constant overlapping on the right-hand side to help Saka, you could see that Ben White was tiring. But I think Ben White, for me, man of the match. And I could see why Arteta took him off. It's because he was tiring. He didn't have the energy to run back and help defend after overlapping and helping Saka go forward. So I understand why Tomiyasu came on. And I think it was the right call overall. Fabio Vieira coming on for Granit Xhaka. I mean, he doesn't really have much options. Me personally, that is the one thing I wouldn't have done. Fabio Vieira coming on in the 79th minute for Granit Xhaka. I would have put Granit Xhaka off, bring Zinchenko into the middle, and bring Tini on the left. That's how I would have done it. But he brought on Tini for Zinchenko. I wouldn't have put Fabio Vieira on, is what I'm saying. I wouldn't have brought Fabio Vieira on. I would have done it a different way. I would have taken off Zinchenko and Xhaka, but I would have done it differently. I would have put Zinchenko into the middle and not taken him off and put Tini on the left. But listen, at the end of the day, we won. So who am I to question it today? I mean, we won, but it is what it is. Rob, with the 94th minute, obviously we're in front. He puts on holding for Odegaard, obviously to close up the game. But it didn't really matter anyway because Martinelli went and scored anyway. So it is what it is. The assist from Fabio Vieira. So it is what it is, man. Ultimately, the substitutions today worked. And if I was an Aston Villa fan, I'd be quite stressed out because I think Aston Villa, it's mad because when you look at the first half, you feel like Aston Villa deserved the win. But football's 90 minutes, not 45 minutes. But then when you look at the second half, we deserve to win. And then when you see what we did in the extra time, we deserve to win. So it's one of them ones, you know. They made a lot of naive mistakes that allowed us to get back into the game. But listen, let's get into you lot's comments. I want to see what you lot are saying. What's this here? Thank God Northside is finally happy. Happy we won. Of course, bro. That's what I want. I want my club to be winners, not losers, bro. Yeah, so I want to see wins. And when we get wins, you're going to see me happy. Estamos aqui, vamos celebrar. É isso mesmo. Epa, estamos aqui, família. Tá comigo, tá com Deus. Tá comigo, tá com Deus. You're with me, you're with God. Tá comigo, tá com Deus, caramba. You know what I mean? We're out here, man. I'm happy today. Listen, it's a sloppy win, but I will take it. I will take it. I don't care. You need these kind of wins during the season. So at the end of the day, I don't care, innit? I'll take it. My nerves are up still. People wonder why we wanted Maddison. Eddie is a disgrace and Granit needs to be sold. Not good enough. Saka carries this team at 21. It's ridiculous. Smash them likes up. Big up to you, bro. It's a fact, bro. Absolute fact. You know what I mean? As much as we can celebrate that we won today, like I said, you always have to analyze certain things that ain't going right and things that need to be put better because we got away with it today. I think nobody can argue that we got away with it today. We did, and we showed heart. But against certain games, against certain teams, only turning up in the second half ain't going to be good enough. You're not going to get 6 minutes extra time every game. So we need to rectify certain things that allowed Aston Villa to dominate us in the first half. And what was that? This manager being able to put a system and change it up so that we can address playing a team, that pushes us and presses us and, you know, bullies us off of the ball. We need to rectify that. We need to rectify the fact that Zinchenko isn't good enough defensively. Nketiah isn't good enough either. Granit Xhaka is way too slow on the ball when he's getting pressed. So I completely agree with you, bro. And it is what it is. Glad to see Northside happy. Big up. Oh, estamos contentes, mano. Epa, estamos aqui. Como eu te disse, estamos aqui. Tá comigo, tá com Deus, caramba. Tá comigo, tá com Deus. For this, estamos aqui. You know what I mean? Well, we're happy, man. It is what it is. This is what I wanted to see. Big up Northside and the chat. Big up Northside. Jorginho's shot. Bro, that shot was saucing. That shot was saucing. I can't lie. And a lot of people, I'm waiting for it. We're going to get into the comments. I'm waiting for it. People say, oh, but you didn't rate Jorginho. Bro, I don't rate him as a CDM. As a box-to-box, I think he's all right. We can still do better, but I don't think he's that bad. But as a CDM, no, I don't rate him as a CDM. Because defensively, he ain't good enough defensively. He ain't. And this is why our midfield is able to get overrun ever since we've been having to rely on him as a CDM. Simple as that. But what a shot. You know what I mean? Big up footy chats, mate. What's this here? Oh, everybody was waiting on that collapse. Typewriters were at the ready. Listen, it is what it is. At the end of the day, it's nobody else's fault that we were 2-1 down at half time. It's not the fans' fault. It's not my fault. I can only react to what happens, innit? So it is what it is. What's good, Northside? Blessings, bro. This game was grit and determination. Exactly. Grit and determination, which we should have. But at the same time, like I said, we need to rectify certain things tactically, because grit and determination, some teams won't allow you to come back into a game just over grit and determination. You know, they're not going to have centre-backs like Mings headering the ball out straight to Saka and allowing him to have a shot on goal. You know, they're not going to allow you to overload them the way we did in the second half. Like, certain teams are just going to shut up shop and really just nullify you completely. Do you know what I mean? So, like I said, I do think, yeah, certain games you do need grit and determination, but there are some things that we've been calling out that still needed to get rectified in this game. But yeah, today, grit and determination definitely got us over the line. And I'm happy to see that. I'm happy to see that, as long as other things get, you know, tactically get fixed as well. Smash those likes up for my brother Northside. Big up to you, bro. Big up to you. Couldn't ask for more. Nkitty Catty needs to work on his finishing. He needs to do more with his ability to threat on and off the ball. Very frustrating, but hope he improves. I hope he improves as well, bro. I do hope he improves, but ultimately, I don't think he's good enough. And, you know, when all of a sudden Jorginho's not scoring screamers, when Saka's not scoring, when Zinchenko's not also chipping in with a goal, you know, we're going to need to rely on Nketiah. And he needs to step up. He really needs to step up. What's this here? The second half fight is what I wanted to see every game, but throughout the whole game, facts. They need to stop making mistakes at the back. Exactly, bro. I couldn't have said it any better. Exactly that. That's exactly what I'm getting at. You know, we need to show that for 90 minutes. It can't just be 45 minutes. And like I said, we can all be happy that it's worked today. But ultimately, we need to be showing up for 90 minutes. 100%. I don't think anyone could argue with that either. But it is what it is. Jorginho doesn't necessarily do too much wrong, just slow in movement. But he made some slick passes today. But bro, at the end of the day, if you're playing as a CDM, you need to be imposing yourself. That there's times where you need to clamp certain man down, chase down certain runners of the ball, make sure that you are running the center of the park. And I don't think he does that. I think Jorginho sometimes, I'll give it to him that sometimes he cuts off passing lanes and he intercepts certain passes. But I'm talking about imposing yourself. Like, there's a runner and he's trying to run off the shoulder and you clamp him down, slide tackle him, make sure that nobody's passing through the middle of the park. And I think Jorginho fails at that. Like you're saying, I think he's a lot better at, like a Granit Xhaka, receiving the ball and distributing it to Trossard, to Saka, to Nketiah. He's better at doing that. Or receiving the ball just outside the box and being able to get a shot on target and doing what he done today. I think that is where you see the best out of Jorginho. Not as sit back, be the destroyer. Because I just don't think that's his game. You know, certain players just don't have certain attributes. So I agree with you that, you know, that's just not his game. And I don't understand why Arteta bought him for that role. I would have understood it more. Not that I wanted Jorginho, but I would have understood it more if he was more brought in as a Xhaka rotation player or a starter over Xhaka than Partey. So I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, bro. I get what you're saying. I think Jorginho is a better version than Xhaka. Both players are better when they go forward than they are when they have to have defensive duties. That's how I look at it. Hey, Northside, wow, a very important win. Especially if we're being serious about this title race. And now it puts the pressure back onto Man City, you know, and this is what we was doing earlier on in the season, getting our job done, and then it's back over to Man City, back over to United, back over to you lot. Right, you lot better pick up 3 points because we've done our job, we got the 3 points. You know what I mean? That's what I want to see. Glad that we got the W, but that was a shocking performance. Defensively lacking. Zinchenko at left back is a disaster. When he's at centre mid, he's class. Jorginho was pretty good. Move Zinni into centre mid and put Tini at left back. I completely agree. I think defensively it was poor by both. But as you know, I am, you know, Zinchenko today. Three of our defenders made major errors. Zinchenko allowing everyone to run through that left hand side. Saliba allowing Ollie Watkins to score his goal, and Ben White allowing Coutinho to score his goal. That is shocking. So I completely agree with you, bro. That was shocking. That was shocking. You can't have your defense allowing that level of mistakes and allowing players through and just allowing people to take on shots on goal. And put your body on it. You know what I mean? Get in front of it. Put your body on it. I mean, this is basic stuff. Even in Power League, I'd put my body in front of it. Do you know what I'm saying? But like I said, just woke up. Did I miss something? Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Nketiah to go in the summer. Just not the man for Arsenal. We got a gunman in Balogun coming up soon. Saka and Trossard getting double teamed is starting to become too normal. We need to be more adaptable and versatile in our play. 100%. 100%. But I do think that Saka was able to get a lot more shots on goal. He had a lot more chances because of Ben White overlapping. So I don't think it was too bad today in terms of Saka getting nullified. I actually think Saka was actually looking quite dangerous because Ben White was giving him, you know, that freedom to... He was making sure that the two defenders that were marking Saka also had to then track Ben White's runs. So I actually think it wasn't too bad for Saka, but I 100% agree today with Trossard being completely nullified. Because Zinchenko was not helping him at all with the runs in the channel. We're becoming very predictable in how we play and how we overlap as well. I do agree with that. I'm happy that I've subscribed to your channel. Well said, Eddie should improve. Yeah, bro. Thank you, bro. Thanks for subscribing. It's facts. You know, at the end of the day, we didn't need him today, but if he put his goals away, we wouldn't even need to have gone to extra time. That's how many chances. Ebening Nketiah had about 3-4 chances today. 2 chances where he could have shot on goal. And I think 2 headers as well. And everything went wide. Everything went wide. It's not good enough. I hope ESR can come back into the team soon. Need to let Saka breathe and rest up a bit. Facts, bro. Facts. I would play Zinchenko, Odegaard, and Jorginho in the midfield. Drop Xhaka. He needs to rest and hold bench and wait for Partey to come back. Then let Tierney play left back and support Trossard / Martinelli. Yeah, I agree. I don't think there's anything wrong with what you said there. Yeah. Sad thing is, whatever intuitive solutions we come up with, Mikel will do his usual nonsense. I agree, man. I agree. Today he got away with it, and I think he's just going to keep doing the same thing over and over again. Man City 1-0 up against Forest. Southampton go in front. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. It is what it is, man. We've done what we need to do. It's irrelevant what Man City do. And if we continue like this, it's irrelevant what City do. Nketiah has no movement. I agree, bro. I agree. Big up Northside. Big up George. I hope you're good, bro. I thought Odegaard had a good second half. Another scruffy game. And they congested midfield. I think he was better in the second half. I still don't think he was that great, if I'm being completely honest. I wasn't that impressed by Odegaard, if I'm being completely honest with you. Both teams look shy at times today, but big 3 points won at the end. Good grit to win it at the end. Huge room for improvement, but it's good momentum starter. Yeah, facts, bro. I hear you loud and clear, Northside, on that. Saka needs rest. He wasn't doubled up on today, though. I think they tried, but the thing is, every time they tried to double up on Saka, they had to keep looking out for Ben White, because Ben White, this is probably the best performance I've seen from Ben White since his performance dipped. The best performance I've seen from him at right back, you know, running down the channels, running down, helping Saka not be doubled up on. What's this here? Eddie doesn't press enough. Bro, he don't press. He doesn't drop in deep, bring Jorginho or Odegaard or Xhaka into the game. He doesn't bring Saka into the game. He doesn't bring in Trossard into the game. We miss Jesus. We miss Jesus. Chelsea 1-0 down against Southampton at half-time. Routed. That is mad. I think Potter's going to get fired. I don't think he's going to make it. What's this? Vamos, irmão. Muito contento, caramba. Listen, big up, man. It is what it is. It is what it is, man. We're happy today. Eddie can't head the ball. Good morning from Pennsylvania, Northside. We need to send Eddie out on loan next season and bring in Dusan Vlahovic. Listen, I don't know if Vlahovic is the guy, but big up my guy. But we definitely do need to get rid of Eddie. I don't think he's good enough. Martinez showed, can't you how Martinez showed Kanya how to score a header. I don't know. I don't know what you're getting at, bro. The way you spelled that is mad. But big up to you, bro. Our set pieces in both defense and attacks are terrible too. We need to improve in that also. That's facts as well. That's facts. We need to fix up on a lot, bro. I'm telling you, we got away with it today. We got away with it. Wisdom spoken, no side. Big up, bro. Big up. He's utilizing Jorginho just like what Sarri used to do in mid. And Nketiah allowing missed chances. What's this here? Sell ESR. I'm done with this club sticking by injury-prone players. Bro, I don't blame you for saying that. I can't even lie. I don't even blame you for saying that. I can see why you had enough of it. You know what I mean? But it is what it is, bro. It is what it is. Do you know what I mean? We do what we can, innit? We do what we can. I would get rid of him. I think if he keeps getting injured, I think we need to go out and get better, if I'll be completely honest with you. He's not reliable. And if he just keeps getting injured, it's now starting to remind me of Wilshere, starting to remind me of Diaby, starting to remind me of them man there. You know what I mean? With all the talent Diaby had, it was always injured. So we never got to see it. So ultimately, we didn't benefit from the player's abilities. So if it's the same with ESR, we need to get rid of him. You know what I mean? Once he's fit, don't play him. You know what I mean? Put some cotton wool around him. Make sure he don't get injured and flog him out. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. We need to be ruthless. I do agree with you. Holding on to players for sentiment. At the end of the day, if a bigger club comes in for a lot of these man, most of these men are out. And we're seeing Saka ain't signed a new contract. He's probably off. You know what I mean? He wanted to see what we'll do in the summer. We didn't do anything. I think he's off. You know what I mean? So Saliba's probably off as well. He's probably looking at him thinking, bruv, I'm getting linked to teams like PSG and all them man there. Bro, I'm off. Rosiski's another one. Exactly. Rosiski, another one. Exactly. Facts. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, man. It is what it is, people. Make sure you like and subscribe. And yeah, listen, it wasn't great. It wasn't a great performance, but it was a determined, gritty performance. And luckily, it was enough for us to get the win. And we're the ones that have the good evening today. It is what it is, caramba. So listen, I'm happy. I am happy. I feel like my head's all over the place because, you know, for big portions of that game, we were losing and I thought, oh, here it goes, the collapse. And we came back and then it's like, what the hell happened? Like, what a crazy game. Like, you just didn't expect it. You know what I mean? All those goals in extra time and yeah, it's just mad. It is actually mad. You know what I mean? But make sure, people, you like and subscribe. And without further ado, I'm out. Safe.